Okay, so welcome back to my set series. Today, we will be learning about radicals and rational exponents. So up until now, hindi pa tayo nag-uusap about radicals, no? So this will be the session for that. So in general, yung nth root of x to the m is what we call a radical. Okay? So yung n na to, okay, should be greater than or equal to 2. And we call n here the index. Okay, yun yung index ng radical natin. Or we also call them the order. Okay, the order. And then, yung x to the m na nandito sa loob, okay, take note, is called the radicand. Okay, so minsan kasi sa mga college entrance exams, ginagamit nila yung mga technical terms na ito para medyo ma-throw off kayo, no? Pero now you know, radicand, radical, and index or order. Okay? So, we say na the principal, okay, nth root of x is written as nth root of x like this. Or you can also transform this into an exponent. Pwedeng gawing x raised to 1 over n. Okay? So, ito yung mga kailangan nyo i-take note, no? If n, okay, if n is odd, then x represents a real number, no? X represent a real number, then there is only one real na nth root of x. Okay? And we call that the principal nth root. Okay? Take note if n is odd. Pero if n is even, then x should represent a positive real number. Okay? Positive real number. And there are two real, okay, take note, real nth root of x. Okay? So that will be the nth root of x and the negative nth root of x. Okay? Take note of that. So, just to give you some basic examples here, no? Yung principal cube root, okay, cube root of 8 will be equal to 2. Okay? Also, yung principal cube root ng negative 8 will be equal to negative 2. Pero, the square root of 9 is 3. Pero, yung square roots of 9 ay 3 and negative 3. Meaning, yan yung principal and secondary roots. Okay? Pero yung square root of negative 9 is not real. Okay? Take note. Take note yung second rule natin, if n is even, in this case, n is 2 kasi square root, kailangan na x should be a positive real number. So now let's learn how to simplify radicals, no? So let's go back to our definition, no, na nth root of x raised to m. We can transform this again into an exponential, no? So this will be x raised to m over n. Okay? Take note of this. This is a very important thing, okay? So, for example, yung 27 raised to 2/3, pwede mong gawin to na cube root of 27 quantity squared. Okay? And alam mo kung ano yung value ng cube root ng 27. Tama? That will be 3. And wag mo kalimutan yung squared, so we get 9. Okay? So again, let's do another example. For example, you have 32 raised to 4 over 5. Again, try to transform this into the radical. This will be fifth root ng 32 raised to 4. And ano ba ang fifth root ng 32? That will be 2, tama? And raised to 4, this will be equal to 16. Okay? So, let's lay some laws, no? Laws of radicals. So, the first law states that yung nth root ng x raised to n will be equal to x. Okay? Ganun lang kadali. So, kung isipin mo, kunyari, ano ang cube root ng 1 to 5 cube? Okay? So, this will just be equal to 125. Okay? You can also think of this as, let's say, 125 raised to 3 over 3. So, this will be 125 raised to 1. So, equal lang siya sa 125. Okay? That is easy enough. Second law natin is, if you have nth root of x times nth root of y, you can simply multiply them, no? Magiging nth root of x, y. So, for example, you have the square root of 6 times the square root of 12. This will just be simply the square root of 6 times 12, which will be equal to square root of 72. Okay? Now, we can simplify the square root of 72. Yung square root of 72 ay equal sa 36 times 2. Tama? And you know na square root of 36 is 6, so pwede natin siya ilabas ng radical. So this will be equal to 6 square root of 2. Third law natin is, if you have nth root of x all over nth root of y, then you can simplify this into one big nth root of x over y. Okay? So, for example, if you have, let's say, the square root of 50 all over the square root of 2. Okay? So, by themselves, hindi mo sila kaya na i-simplify. No? Pero you can combine them into one big fraction, magiging square root siya ng 50 all over 2, which will be the square root of 25, which will be just 5. Okay? So actually, you can simplify the numerator here, no? Just another way of doing this is, yung square root of 50 is square root of 25 times 2. So, pwede mo ilabas yung 25. Magiging equal na siya sa 5 square root of 2. Then, you divide it by square root of 2. Okay? So, magka-cancel yung square root of 2 and you also get 5, which is the same answer. Okay? Fourth law natin states that if you have the nth root of the mth root of x, this will just simplify into m times n root x. So, let's say for example, you have the square root of the cube root of 64. Tama? So, this will just be equal to the sixth root of 64. Okay? And the sixth root of 64 is equal to 2. Okay? So, let's have a much more general law, no? If you have, let's say, nth root of x times the mth root of y, you can combine this into one big root by saying na magiging mnth root of x to the m, y to the n. Okay? So, for example, gusto mo i-multiply yung square root of 5 by cube root of 2. Okay? So, kung maisip mo, baka hindi na pwede i-simplify yan, no? Pero, technically, you can still simplify this. Using this fifth law, no? So, square root yan. So, yung m and n mo ay 6, tama? So, 6 square root of 2 squared times 5 cubed. So, kukunin mo yung index nung hindi mo root, and yun yung gagawin mo exponent. Okay, and if you simplify this, this will be the sixth root of 500. Okay? So, just some notes, no? In college entrance exam, kailangan always in simplified form ang mga sagot natin, no? So, paano natin masasabi kung nakasimplify na yung radical natin, no? So, the first thing is that if the index of the radical is greater than any exponent in the radicand. Okay? Second is the radicand is positive. Okay? And dapat has no fractions or decimals. Okay? So that's all for today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And I hope to see you again next time.